Alright, people, how are you doing? Let's see how this goes. It's been a while since I streamed. It always sort of feels weirdish to start, but just gonna take some chill time, gather up some people, and then we can enjoy our time together, revoking soul contracts and other things, because we're gonna have Cosmos and I joining us today. So yeah, like sort of catching up. Hi John, hi Cosmos, MNT, or like actually MTN, sorry. Sarseed, hi. Merry Christmas, just say hi, what a good one. Like, yeah, breaking laws, spending time with families. Like, in Lithuania we have lockdowns where it's like, you can't go to the other places, you can't meet with families and other things. I'm like, fuck you, you know. So it's like just being myself and all. But yeah, just chill time. What are DNA hooks and astral hooks? Can I remove them with soul contract release? What are DNA hooks? Like, it depends on how far you want to take it. For some people, it's more like a hook in DNA. For example, like something happened in your life or something is programmed. It's like the way your body acts, the way you have to live, and all like your looks and everything else. And that sort of thing is programmed, and now you have to live by it. So that thing, like if there are any limitations, that can be released, and soul contract work would help. Actual hooks, like depends. Some people like with the actual hooks just start appearing in certain places, like as if there is like teleportation place or a place for them to spawn. But at the same time, some like it's like astral body can be hooked to the physical one, which makes you sort of like really hard time getting out. And also like there's varieties, but it really depends what you mean by that and what kind of changes would you like to see in your life. What up, people? How are you doing? How is your weekends? How is your holidays? I'm sort of like just I don't know, like I'm not the party person, I guess, like avoiding majorities, which is like weird because like I'm streaming, but in life I'm like avoiding people and all, like stay away and all. So I don't know, like just family time with people I know, like yeah, it's all good, but like I don't want to go into the crowds. I'm like home's fine. So just weird. Hi Zach, good seeing you here. So yeah, today we're gonna do the soul contract revocation process. For those that have heard of it, like you probably found out about it like through Cameron Dane, maybe Angie Barsis, maybe Eve Lorgan, maybe Rich 150X. It's like an amazing work. The idea behind it is kind of like before we come here on Earth, we are made to agree to certain things. Like some people, for example, just imagine installing an app on your PC or a phone, and as you're installing something, you have to agree to terms of service. And a lot of times, we just want to get our app faster. We want to use the program, we want to play the game, and a lot of times we don't even bother reading the rules of what we were agreeing to. Yeah, like I don't care, blah blah blah, accept the cookies, yeah, like, and you just sort of get your stuff and you're happy. So with the incarnation, it's very similar, where sometimes people are being forced to come here, and those agreements are shoved on them, and they just like end up waking up, like opening their eyes, like, oh, I'm a baby, and you're just sort of growing a certain period of time, and like you change, but there's a lot of things limiting you. Other times people are actually coming here on their own free will, and as they come here, it's more like imagine this massive line of people before they get into the bodies, and there's like this massive book, and you're like, yeah, well, I have a goal to do there, and you're standing and you're sort of like reading one page, yeah, like page 5. you won't have much money, your body will hurt, you're gonna get this, and you're like, next page, and you're sort of like reading, and there's just like thousands of pages, and you're like, yeah, I don't care, I just want to get in. You're like, go, and you just sort of skip hundreds of thousands of agreements that control your body, your life, how you are, and you end up like having like tons of limits. So like the idea behind it is that as we incarnate here into this life, we have a lot of agreements. Some of those agreements are soul agreements, which means that our soul, like even before we come here, we're gonna have limitations. But once we end up here, we sort of keep making those agreements daily, depending from stuff that happens. You might get into a fight with your friend, you might get into the argument or with someone, and eventually maybe you do something like you're like having fun with kids, you're just throwing rocks, and they're like, hey, throw this rock at the bird, and you're like, oh, okay, haha, and you throw a rock and you kill the bird, and you're like, oh my god, what have I done? And then you realize like, okay, never again. I will never again do this. And so you make agreements in your daily life by sort of changing your mind, changing how you are, and those decisions of how you are will sort of impact your life. So like a lot of those are made actually unconsciously. We're not conscious about like what some of the agreements we have, and eventually we find like our lives limited, trapped, and we're like, why is this stuff happening to me? But eventually just tons of agreements we have gotten throughout the years, and we're like, okay, now what? So like there's parts of how we get the agreements, and then removing those things, and then seeing your life change. So today we're gonna have Cosmos United join me. We're gonna talk to her, and I'm gonna be helping her to get rid of her problems, or at least some. And the thing about the whole work, it's very important to take one little bit at a time. For example, some of you might have issues with relationships, career, financial things, family and all this stuff, maybe your personal development and how you are, maybe you have depression, maybe you're scared, maybe you have like toxic relationships and all the other things. There's like a lot of areas, like let's say health, financial, relationships and all the other things is a massive area, which means like, okay, we're gonna work on relationships. So what about relationships? And you have to break it down. Do you have issues with relationships? What are some good things, bad things? And you basically break it down to the point like, well, whenever I talk to this person, this happens. And then you just like have one sentence or like one liner, which is like very specific, and that's one item out of 1,000 that you're gonna address. And you know, like it basically takes a few sessions to destroy the whole cluster and actually feel massive changes, but sometimes even one session is life-changing. So we'll see how it goes today. And again, I'll stop right now to say hello to Anna, John Roberts, Tristan, TC, and more people. Kevin, hi there. Good to see you all. So I'll be answering a few questions and talking to you, and in about, 20 minutes or so, I'll have Cosmos joining me, and we're going to do the whole session live. So a lot of you can join and follow the steps and see if you yourself can actually remove your agreements, or simply just watch the whole process and, ask questions or other things. But like when I start talking to Cosmos, it's just gonna be me and her, and I will not focus on Q&A because I just want to be fully with her, being there to listen, to help, to see where the process takes us. And once we're done, then I can go back to answering questions. So we'll see how that goes. But that being said, yeah, I'm excited. Like I wanted to say I'm sort of stressed, but I know like that. It's just like it's weird programming. So like my body feels the same way, like excitement and sort of like this fear or stress, same feeling. Says I'm like this is excitement. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So we have MTN saying, want my ex to stop abusing us. He is a narc and I'm trauma bonded, so I want to remove them. Good. It's really good stuff that you know about this whole difference in relationships, like the narcissist and how they act, and then you wanting to make the change. So, I guess the starting questions would be like, where's your relationship at? Like, have you made any sort of, boundaries? Does a person know that you want to back off and are you doing something about it? And sort of this work as well, like sort of removing soul contracts, it's gonna help you sort of like release the emotional stuff, or even like some of the limitations if the person keeps on coming or they don't change and anything else. So like that can be sort of played with as well. And also, Cosmos, thank you for the donation, appreciate it. Was saying that she was listening to Beyond the Veil for Christmas and had her cousin and their lover visit her. That's awesome. Like the more people are listening to this more valuable information, that's great. Stars is asking or saying, the revocation I noticed doesn't fully work, it just rids limitations, not a casting up psychic shield over the issues. Done some of it, it doesn't work all the time. Yeah, for me, like, the way I work with revoking soul contracts, I've seen massive changes in my life. Literally, take when I was 18, I could not talk. If it came to talking out loud, I would probably like stumble and like can't talk. I don't want to talk. It's just so hard. I would have throat ache. I would freeze up. My body would get super intense. I would start talking, and it's kind of like the social anxiety where people are just saying something, and I'm gonna sort of like bark like a dog. Where instead of like calm, relaxed answer, like, yeah, like I just feel like this, and like sort of like being in this relaxed state, I'd be so intense, like, sort of like tensed up, and like, yeah, and sort of like just barking really fast to get the conversation done faster and move on. So like for me to see the changes where like I'm actually able to get in front of people, able to talk, able to sort of like, hey, this is fun. Like I'm finding strengths within. For me, the soul configuration actually worked a lot. It's just like it really depends if you know how to do it, if you know the process, and if you're doing it often. Because like you might address one little thing and you're just addressing the surface of the whole iceberg, and you're like, yeah, I didn't change anything, and you actually haven't done shit. You're just sort of scratching this little thing and like not really making changes. So you have to like dig deeper and like, damn, you see this stuff work. But again, like this stuff requires some effort. It's not like, yeah, it's easy and fun, da da da. Sometimes it takes 2-3 hours and you're just sitting there like, God damn, I just want to go and leave. But there's a lot of times like we just want to run away from the whole process because it's a bit too much, or like our issues, for example, the and other things, like they get scared, they get stressed, like they're feeling the pressure of you getting rid of them, so they want to run away and like, oh fuck, so like it happens a lot. So for me, like I would not say that soul conflict revocation doesn't work. It just like starts it for you. I think you either you weren't addressing the big stuff, or you were just addressing the surface. Like addressing something and not seeing the process is because there's an underlying deeper item, and you're just scratching the surface and not even touching on the big stuff that's actually causing it all. Sort of like like I feel bad when I talk to these people, but you're not working on getting rid of the whole relationship. Like every time you see the person, you're gonna get triggered, but you're not even gonna start working on the relationship itself. So there's like different things about it. So I'm sort of slowly scrolling down and reading what you people are talking about. Cosmo saying she's a bit shy. That's good, because like I think like we're both there. Like I'm a bit like comfortable because I've been streaming and I've been making YouTube videos, and that's cool. But to do a live session, I have not done that before. So this is kind of gonna be like a new experience. Like I said, like person is comfortable, but now it's you and me, and then the whole crowd watching and at the same time talking. So like we'll see how that goes, but we'll manage it somehow. Danny asking, is there a reason I'm drawn to 70s, 90s, and other historical times? Sometimes it depends, like past life connections, maybe, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have had a past life in the 70s, 90s, but for example, you have lived in other worlds that had similar vibes, similar traditions, similar sort of like time period that were like, like looks and everything, and you've lived that. For example, the whole thing with Atlantis and Egypt, and like Roman Empire or whatever, people who admire those times, there's literally the whole world dedicated for that specifically. And it does not mean that you have to live here on Earth to experience that, but there's a whole world where you can just go there and experience the whole thing, like live there for thousands of years and see how things develop from there. So there's like a lot of connections. And what specifically like draws you like in those times? Like, is it just the time period itself, or are there any events, any specific things, items, conversations, people, music? What is specifically in there? Stephanie is saying, I would assume a lot of people have contracts to stay limited and or be attacked. There's a thing. Like a lot of beings, they want us to look like we are the victims. And they want us to agree that, like, yeah, you can attack me. The whole thing about it is that each and every one of you is the bigger person. You're the bigger being. But they try to mess with you in a way that you end up thinking like, oh, they're big, they're bad, and like I'm small, I can't do anything, I'm helpless and all this stuff. But that's wrong thinking. Like they just like try to program you with this propaganda, you know, they're just pushing bullshit stories, and it's not true. They're just trying to scare you. The reality is that you're freaking powerful. And just that throughout the whole time, like while we're here, a lot of us see ourselves as people who are kind, who are helpful, who are like, instead of trying to like, oh, someone's suffering, cool. It's not like you're just like passing by in New York Street when someone is actually attacked. You actually see that and you want to stop it. Most of you want to take action when something bad is done. And so we're living like that. There's like thousands of people having these feelings like, hey, I'm gonna help others, I'm gonna defend others, like I feel like I'm here to help others. And so when times like this comes and these are like, hey, you're just too freaking powerful, like I mean, like you're always destroying us, can we just sort of make the differences where you're gonna have a harder time killing us? I seem like not necessarily destroy us, but like you have to visualize it, you have to put intention. You're like, sure, I'm gonna have the same power, and you eventually sort of like just down yourself, limit yourself in a little box, and like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, boom, and like all of a sudden, years of this programming and like their tech and how long these beings have been telling us stories to deceive us. It's definitely a thing. So like a lot of people do have the contracts or like let's say agreements that will limit them, but it's temporary. Each and every one of you can get rid of it all. Like just because there's a thing for you to simply like, hey, I've agreed to it in the past and I no longer go with it. So simply the change of mind and living where you're like, nah, I'm limitless, you can't hurt me, and that alone sort of like raises where you are as a person, so they have a harder time messing with you. So I feel like the main part of it, like you don't necessarily have to go through the whole revocation process. The whole revocation process is to make sure stuff does not come back after you get rid of it, but simply being aware and changing your mind and living a life where like, nah, that is no longer my reality, I'm gonna create a new story right here, and boom, you start manifesting stuff right away. Zach is asking, Aquila, would you like a cup of chamomile and like lavender tea to help you relax? I would go for that. Right now I'm drinking the berry tea, the kind of like usual. I'm all sort of like, I had all my green teas, so like I have to find something next, and this was the berry tea in my closet, like, or like, how's like, not in the closet, in the counter, I think, on, yeah, just like a little shelf or whatever. Something in the kitchen, you know. Tea box in the kitchen, there you go. My English sucks. Anyway, people, I'm gonna start shifting. Cosmos, I think we're ready to connect, are we? Are you ready? I think we'll be good to start, and I have my question list and everything, so we can just chit chat, take it easy, and go from there. My favorite tea, oh man. My favorite tea, I guess it would be the mint tea. Like, my grandma like grows mints, and she just sort of picks them up and like boil water, mint, and that's boom, you know. So like it's so simple, but I like it like a lot. I would go for it, Zach. You got me there. All right, okay. So I'm gonna try calling Cosmos on the Skype, and we're gonna go from there. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Skype catches my camera. Hi there. Okay, so I'm gonna catch Skype there. And yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, you can hear me. We just need to make sure.
it's super weird because it's different from
Stream?
the live stream.
Oh, damn. Yeah, sure. Take your time. Okay, so technical issues on Skype. We need to make sure I have my settings and all. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can, but it's super weird because we were talking with
Oh,
the live
maybe.
stream and Skype.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna wait.
Yes, I can. Yes, but I cannot see you, but I see you on the live stream, so yeah. Yeah. I think that okay, I didn't understand the question. Ah, okay. Definitely on the stream because people need to see.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, it's this weird lag which I cannot
Mm-hmm.
wrap my mind around.
Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna have like a few little issues probably. Like when I'm talking, you might either hear echo or like mute the stream, and you're gonna hear me from Skype. That might be a thing.
Now I see you.
Okay, so on Skype, mute me, and then listen to me on stream, if that'll work.
Yeah.
Still technical issues. Like we have had the conversation on Skype before, people, but we have not tested out on stream. So like it's like on the way.
I'm not sure how to do this, but I'll try.
Yeah, on Skype there should be like a button on the bottom, like when we're chatting. On the bottom there should be the microphone, and you can.
Okay.
Actually, I can
I'll
mute
try
myself on Skype. Duh, I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, now I see myself, but I see that lag, so I cannot see myself real time. But it's okay.
Yeah. There's always that little issue there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just to chill, how are you doing?
Yes, I can. But I cannot see myself. I mean, I see. Okay, I see the lag in the window, in the stream window, but on Skype I see myself.
Yeah. So, like,
Yeah,
can you
I
see
don't know
yourself on the
why
stream?
this happens.
Like, if you just turn on, like, YouTube where you can see the stream, would that work? Like, with the video on yourself?
I'm okay.
That'd be
I'm a
laggy, though.
bit shy now.
There's this thing of setting up the things properly. One thing we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna hang up on Skype, and what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna stop the stream, call Cosmos, and then stream the conversation from Skype because this is messy. So like